Hi, welcome back to my garden. Today, I'll show you how I grow lettuce in containers using a simple homemade pot and mix. When it comes to growing lettuce, I like to start with a good pot and soil. And most of the compost that I use to create the soil comes from right here inside my chicken coop. And thanks to the chickens, it breaks down fast and is packed with nutrients. That's why I don't usually need to add any extra fertilizer after transplanting, especially when growing short-term crops like lettuce. But if you're using store-bought pot and mix, check the label to see if it already has nutrients in it. You might see something like NPK or time-release fertilizer, or they might give you a duration of time like 3 to 6 months in which fertilizer is available to your plants from the pot and mix. But just in case, it's always a good idea to have some extra fertilizer on hand. For containers, I usually stick to the black nursery pots. I think they're labeled Classic 600. They're about 8.5 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall. They're easy to move, they don't need much pot and mix, and can comfortably hold about 2 heads of lettuce. Once the pots are filled, I usually use my spoon to gently transplant the seedlings. I prefer using seedlings that are slightly overgrown, or at least have 2 sets of true leaves. The smaller seedlings often don't survive out where I live, especially with the grasshoppers. They tend to cut off their heads. Oh, and if this is your first time here, I'm Julian. I grow food in small spaces and share what I learn over on my website, microfarmguide.com. Now, after transplanting, I move the pots to a sunny location that gets at least 4 to 6 hours of sunlight each day. Right now, I grow about 12 pots of lettuce a week. I keep a few for myself and I sell or share the rest. Once they're in place, I water them deeply to prevent transplant shock. Although I have to admit, I haven't had any issues so far, but better safe than sorry. From here, it's mostly hands off. Aside from watering an occasional checkup, lettuce pretty much take care of themselves. In about 4 to 5 weeks, they're ready to harvest. I usually grow Minetto, which is a head type lettuce, and it's also very tolerant to the heat. But I don't wait for them to form a tight full head. I harvest them while they are still tender, before the rain and insects can get to damage their leaves. And just like that, a few containers can give you fresh harvest of lettuce right from your backyard, patio, or balcony. All right, so that's it for today. See you next time.